أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين حبيب قلوبنا والشفيع ذنوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين إلى قيام يوم الدين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Congratulations to all of the mu'mineen, all of the people of the world, on a blessed occasion commemorating the birth of our noble, holy Prophet of Islam and Prophet of Peace, the Prophet Mohammad, peace be upon him.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
I'm going to give a two-part talk, inshallah, in English and in Farsi. And the first part will be in English, and the remaining part will be in Farsi. It will be two different conversations. One will discuss about the role of the importance of our Prophet and one of the ways we can follow in his footsteps as we step into a new year. The other will focus on the level of the Prophet. He was special, and he had a certain special miracles, and one of them was his ascension to the heavens, his Mi'raj. And I'd like to reflect on some of what he saw there and has shared with humanity about. When the Prophet of Allah came to the people, they had traditions and they had customs. They would dress a certain way, talk a certain way. They had certain things that were part of their culture and how they dealt with one another. Some of these things that were a custom in society at the time, some of these things were not a part of Islam. Some of these things were not against Islam. We learned from the teachings of Imam that the Prophet of Allah, his role was to give people guidance. The Quran is a book of guidance. And he's the example of what that guidance should look like. And while he's giving people guidance, he has to be able to tell them what things they're doing that are okay and what things they're doing that are not. So the Prophet of Allah is the last prophet. So this is the last message for all of humanity. So it has to be relevant to all of humanity, wherever they may be, whenever they may live. It has to be a relevant message. So this means that every culture in the world, and the language, has to be compatible with Islam and this message. So some of the things that people were doing in society that were wrong, the Prophet came to show them how do we decide what parts of our culture do we keep and what parts do we leave behind. So obviously there was a custom that people would bury their daughters, and they would be upset if they had a daughter. And this was a custom that many of the people had. But the Prophet came and said that this religion draws the line and gives respect to our daughters. And he doesn't allow this to happen. So even if that was a part of your culture, it can no longer be a part of your culture now because of Islam. And that's probably the most beautiful, or one of the most beautiful things about Islam, how compatible it is. When people go to Hajj, they see people from all different backgrounds, from all different colors, from all different nations. And they have their own personal culture, how they dress in their country. But then you see, at this time, during Hajj, you see people all wearing a similar dress. So everything in society that we see, we have to hold it against Islam and see what does Islam say about it. Sometimes people, they don't consider what Islam says. How do I feel about it? I like, I don't like. But we have to consider what does Islam say about it? For example, we live in America, right? And there's holidays that happen all throughout the year, right? Especially during these past couple of months. Thanksgiving and Christmas, New Year's, and so on and so forth. So sometimes there's a question. This is a culture in this society. Where does this culture meet in terms of Islam or someone who's Muslim? So we have to see, what does Islam, or what has it said about this? If there's no contradiction and no conflict, then it's no problem. If there's nothing going against the values of Islam, then it's no problem. Because we have a value system. We don't need to adopt a different value system. We have a value system, which we base everything off of. One of the biggest things that people do when the New Year comes in America is they make a New Year's resolution. They decide, well, since it's a new year, I'm going to start fresh. I'm going to start over. I'm going to do something different. I'm going to do something new. Sometimes they're successful, sometimes they're not. But the idea of taking a time to reflect, to start an initiative, that's very much a part of Islam. It doesn't have to wait till the January 1st or the day before. It can be any time, but this in this culture has become a tradition. And as the article says, that the thing that people most make their New Year's resolution is getting in shape. And they say that they sell at this time the most exercise equipment. They sell at this time the most gym memberships. And people spend a lot of money on these things at this time of the year. And it's ironic that many people don't end up becoming successful and reaching their goal. How can Islam help us if we take our true values, what Islam says, to be able to be successful? So we decide that we sit and we reflect. What should we be reflecting on, first of all? We reflect on what's going to make us successful. What are our shortcomings? What are our obstacles? What is preventing us from being successful? And then we have to make a plan for overcoming those things. There was a student in Mohammad, a preacher, a propagator of Islam. And he went to a community and he began to teach and work with the community in the masjid. And one day, in a meeting, some people made some accusations. You're like this or you're like that. You do this, you do that. They said some things about him. He became very hurt. So he went to his teacher. He said, to his teacher was, and Ayatollah, he said, I went to, help people, and they say bad things about me. They're calling me names. They said I did this, I did that. And he said, you have a responsibility Now you have a mas'uliyah. You have a responsibility to go and sit alone and reflect on what was said. And why alone? Because then you're not worried about what this person thinks of you, what that person might think. You sit alone yourself with you and Allah, and you say, that comment, was it true or not? And he said, if what they said was true, then you have to go and thank them for that criticism. He said, you have to go and thank them. Because that may be the cause of you becoming a better person. Ayatollah Jawadi Auni, in one of his tafsir classes, he was explaining in Surah An-Nahl about the role of shaitan and how the difficulty that when shaitan tries to inspire people to do wrong, how that actually can help a person. That push that he's trying to give to be able to overcome that obstacle is how a person reaches a degree and level of nearness to Allah. So, when we sit back and we reflect, and as they say in Farsi, they say, "Ye lahze ghaflat, yek umr hashim." So you take a moment of unawareness, of negligence, and a lifetime of regret. It can become a lifetime of regret. So we want to do the opposite. We want to take a moment of reflection to prevent a lifetime of regret. So this is the reason why we have those traditions and hadith that say that a moment of reflection is more valuable than 70 years of worship. If it can help a person to realize his own self, his own weakness, who he is, what he needs to overcome. And this is a tradition that we should do all the time. It says every night before a person sleeps, you should make their resolution. Right? They should look back at their day. I saw someone today, I forgot to give them salam. So they reflect on that, for example. There was trash, I didn't clean it up. So they reflect on this. I made my prayers, but I was rushing. And they reflect on this. And when they reflect at the next day, they should be, inshallah, a little bit better. So they have a mental plan to put into practice. Because what happens if you don't reflect at that time? I was doing some traveling, and during the holiday season, it's the worst time to travel. I highly do not recommend it. And one of the things that, during these travels, there were some difficulties that came, and one of the people, customer service of one of the airlines, they said you can file a complaint. And you have to go online and to file your complaint. But he said to me, he stressed, if you want to make sure that your complaint is heard, you must make sure that you write down all the details at the time that it happened, before you forget. Every name, every detail, everything that happened. Because what happens to a person the next day, the day after, you get busy, you forget about some of the events and what happened. It's the reason why, for example, the longest verse of Quran is about contract. Because of the importance of it's an agreement in that role. How it affects relationships, it affects the work that needs to be done. If there's a contract in place, then it's not going to say tomorrow, I forgot, I thought you meant this, I thought you meant that. No, everyone will look and see that this is exactly what was meant. So it's a reflection of the events that are supposed to happen. If we don't reflect every day about what we want to do or who we want to be, did we make a mistake today? Did we do something good? Alhamdulillah, we say Alhamdulillah and thank Allah if what we did was good. If we made a mistake or have a shortcoming, then we make a mental note. Or sometimes people, they actually make a note for themselves about what they need to do better the next time. This is how we grow as an individual. Imagine if a person does this in their whole life. From 10 years old, from 7 years old, before they go to sleep, they think for a moment. For a few moments. It's not a hard thing. What did I do? How was my day? What did I do right? What did I do wrong? It's like a checkbook that people have to balance. If you wait for a long time, you don't remember what money came, where it was spent, what happened from years ago. No. But if you do this on a daily basis, this is how a person achieves his resolution. Most of the people that make New Year's resolutions, it says that they're not successful. Because they make a resolution with energy at one moment, and then it dies away. Because they were excited because it was New Year's. Because it was holidays. They're excited and energetic. After that goes away, then their energy goes away. But for the Muslim, they make their resolution and their resolve every single day. So it's something that it's an opportunity and it's good to do. But it doesn't mean that it stops when a person, on January 2nd, they go back or they forget. It's something that we should do on a regular and daily basis, inshallah. Sallallahu alaihi wa sallam.